Hey guys, Dantix here, back with another Tiny Tina's Wonderlands video. This time breaking down the short gameplay trailer that dropped outlining the first two classes, the Stabbomancer and the Brr-Zerker. Did you honestly expect anything different from Gearbox? Of course the classes would be a twist on the traditional tabletop experience. For those who don't know, Wonderlands is not technically a Borderlands game. Instead, you're playing out a tabletop story with the wacky Tiny Tina as its dungeon master. It's a fantasy action RPG with guns that shares gameplay elements with Borderlands, like shooting and looting, lots of looting, but mixes in spells, customization, melee weapons and more. So in this short video, I'll break down the revealed classes, spells and traps. Before we start, take a look at this. It's the Mass Effect Legendary Cache. It contains, among other things, this sweet N7 helmet that can glow both Paragon and Renegade. To win this now unobtainable mint condition collector's item, all you need to do is, well, be a regular on the channel and my socials. Yep, well that's it. Comment and like and follow on each new video or post, and at the end of the year I'll pick a random using an app. Check out the comment below for more information. Good luck guys. So like predicted, Gearbox have taken traditional tabletop archetypes and turned them on their head. The Rogue is now the Stabbomancer and the Berserker is the Brr-Zerker, obviously. Starting with the Stabbomancer, we have what seems to be a class restricted spell, the Ghost Blade. It summons a spinning glaive on your enemies with a point of the finger. It seems like it does a lot of damage over time to enemies who remain in its area of influence, or I guess its stab range, though technically it's slashing them, not stabbing, so get on that Gearbox. Pairing this with a way to keep enemies within the stab could be helpful. Then we have another skill from the Shadows, which does what you'd expect all video game rogues to do, enter stealth mode. While stealth, you'll have increased damage. In this case, the Stabbomancer uses a frost sword of some kind. The more footage we see, the more I'm convinced you can equip different melee weapons on your character, but instead of physically holding them out, you'll use them by hitting a melee button. You see that with the Stabbomancer, and you see that with the Feral Surge, which brings me to the next class, the Brr-Zerker. A frost-themed melee fighter which will no doubt focus around getting up in people's faces and crowd controlling them with frost abilities. Feral Surge is one of those abilities. You leap forward and crash down on your enemies with an icy slam. It's not clear right now if you always use this particular axe when using the ability or use the melee weapon you have equipped, but being a frost-themed class, I expected to, at least in the beginning, always have a frost effect. What would a barbarian class be without a whirlwind attack? Well, enter Dreadwind, spinning to win. I see this dealing a lot of AoE damage, but also crowd controlling those who don't die to the damage. We can see from the Stabbomancer's perspective that the Brr-Zerker, with the frost axe on her back, runs in, uses Feral Surge to get on top of the enemies, and freezes those around her for the Stabbomancer to clean up with his Ghost Blade. Perhaps this Stabbomancer is built for damage and the Brr-Zerker is built for tank and CC. So those are the first two revealed classes for Wonderlands. There are more to come and no doubt we'll be in for some wacky spins, pun intended. Expect some spell casting classes as well based on the footage we've seen. Check out my last Wonderlands video for more information. It's still unclear how spells and skills will be doled out within the skill trees of these classes. We know you have a primary and later on a secondary class, mixing and matching skills between them, but it's unclear if the skills will be designed like some Borderlands 3 characters, wherein you got a skill to equip within each tree. That would mean those two are the specializations the Stabbomancer can invest in, one a ranged type damage dealer and one focused around stealth. Or maybe the skill tree has abilities and spells you can collect along the way, and this is only a taste of what the classes can do. It's also unclear if you can only have one ability equipped at one time, as we haven't seen footage of a class using two at once. If you have more than one, then mixing and matching the Stabbomancer with Brr-Zerker abilities could yield some interesting combos, like stealth leaping for big damage or spinning on top of your Ghost Blade. We'll just have to wait for more information. We see at the start of the video that both the characters have their own look. We know that you'll be able to fully customize via the character sheet at the start of the game, so unlike Borderlands, Wonderlands will not have you playing pre-built characters. It seems gear is also like that, as both these characters have different costumes. I haven't seen any gear drop from enemies yet, so it's unclear if you can mix and match parts and get different stats from them. We do know attributes are a thing in Wonderlands which will influence different passive stats, so maybe the gear system is more complex than what it was in Borderlands. Here we see the Stabbomancer running over a spike trap. It takes some time to activate, letting the Stabbo get over it without getting stabbed. Perhaps light-footedness is an ability or a passive in the dexterity attribute. At the very least, we know the world will be full of surprises, like this. We see a character, the same one you turn enemies into with a spell in the last video, falling through 2 portals. This could very well be a spell, but I'm more inclined to believe this is just part of the world. If so, getting around with portals could be on the menu when it comes to finding secret areas and exploring. So that's all I have for you today. What do you think of the Stabbomancer and the Brr-Zerker? Do you like the Rogue and Brr-Zerker archetypes? Or do you prefer another style of gameplay? Let me know below. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is gearing up for a release early next year, so be sure to follow for all the latest news. Me just being in your recommended list will fail you. Thank you for watching, and until next time, ciao friends.